Alright guys, what's going on? Welcome in. So it's franchise tag deadline day, right? The clock reads 4, and we have some massive free agent news, right? We have a better understanding of the landscape of the unrestricted free agents, right? That are going to be out there. Obviously, some of these guys are, they should be, humongous targets for the New York Jets, based off of our team needs here. So let's talk about the first bit of news here. First order of business, the New England Patriots went out and tagged safety Kyle Duggar. Now this was expected. Duggar is a really good player, right? Obviously can do so many different things. It seems like he's going to be in New England for a long time. In fact, a lot of people actually criticized that pick when when the Patriots first made it, and he's proved a ton of people wrong. But in turn, the Patriots are now, because of the franchise tag being used here, it's looking like Onwenu is going to be hitting unrestricted free agency. Now, an interesting note about Onwenu, supposedly he does not have an agent. He's going to be representing himself. And, although I don't want to, completely rule out, I don't think the Patriots are in a position where they're going to say, no, we don't want him. I think there could still potentially be talks. I wouldn't be shocked if he returns to New England, but at the end of the day, I do feel like, based off of his age, the season that he's coming off of, his positional versatility, and how many teams need help at tackle, right? I know Onwenu can play guard, but man, this is such a weak free agency class as it pertains to tackle. He could be looking at the situation saying, you know what, I'm trusting myself here. I'm going to bet on myself. I'm going to go to the highest bidder, or I'm going to try to find myself in the best situation moving forward. Right, obviously we look at the New England Patriots offensive situation, and it's not all that great. It doesn't look like the Patriots are going to be, making a Super Bowl run or a playoff push next season. They're kind of transitioning into the post-Belichick era, rebuilding, starting fresh. Does Onwenu want to sign up for that on a 3-4 year contract? No, probably not. He's going to have a lot of suitors, and I fully expect the Jets better be in on Onwenu. Okay, so next up, the Jacksonville Jaguars went out and tagged pass rusher Josh Allen and released cornerback Darius Williams. Now, Calvin Ridley is set to hit the open market. Right now, you can make an argument, well, because of the recent release of Williams, where they saved, I believe, $10.5 million against the cap, now that can, potentially help bolster a potential Calvin Ridley reunion or new contract, because I really don't feel like those talks are dead. Right? At the end of the day, the Jacksonville Jaguars, they took a chance. They traded away, a solid draft haul to go get him. Are they just going to let him walk after one season? And, to be frank, he had a really good season. Did have some pretty crucial drops. You talk to some Jags fans out there, they will literally say they lost games based purely off of Calvin Ridley's drops, which is a bit concerning. Not everybody is totally down to bring him back on a huge multi-year deal, but some are. Right, and at the end of the day, we can just look at Calvin Ridley on the field, and when you watch him on the field, he's a really good football player that would benefit a lot of football teams. So I think, if Ridley hits the open market, the New York Jets have got to be all in on Calvin Ridley here. It's just mind-boggling, right? The amount of team needs that the Jets have. When you look at the cap situation, the dead money, understanding all of the first-round picks that Joe Douglas has had since he's taken over. 2 starting tackles, 1 starting guard at the least, backup options on the offensive line, a backup quarterback, defensive line depth, safety depth, like a third down, maybe a veteran running back, and of course a wide receiver too, and a slot wide receiver, unless they're thinking Xavier Gibson can start the year off as that go-to slot. But nonetheless, if the New York Jets were to pull this off, right, we bring in Calvin Ridley, let's just say 3 years, $65 million, we would be in a much better position moving forward. Now, there has been a player on the Jacksonville Jaguars, some rumblings here. They could move on from him to save over $17 million against the cap. We haven't got word as of right now, but Cam Robinson, right? This is somebody who I'm keeping my eye on here. If the Jags want to go out and save a bunch of money, right, by releasing a player here, you're looking at tackle for them. They do have 2 solid options, 2 young options here in Anton Harrison and, of course, Walker Little, who would be stepping in at left tackle. Look, if it's a win-now organization and they want they feel like they have 3 solid offensive starting tackles. And they want to save that 17 plus million. You can delegate that to another position on the, or out there on the free agency market. So if the Jags release Cam Robinson, I know he's not perfect, but he's definitely an upgrade over what the Jets currently have. He's an upgrade over Dwayne Brown last year, Mekhi Becton last year. I think that would be a pretty awesome pickup for New York, but that's just me personally. Now, one bit of information which was completely expected, we actually heard Colts general manager Chris Ballard talk about it at the scouting combine. He did say that Michael Pittman was going to be back with the team in 2024. That is in fact official, right? The Colts have tagged Pittman and they are working out a long-term deal. So here we are again talking about another top-end wide receiver being off the board, joining T. Higgins and Mike Evans. The good news here, there's plenty of options out there still. Again, Calvin Ridley, Hollywood Brown, Darnell Mooney, Gabe Davis. There's Tyler Boyd. There's wide receiver targets that can still come in and upgrade this Jets team. So and, of course, the NFL draft. We had the Seattle Seahawks go out and release Jamal Adams and safety Quandre Diggs. Now, I personally did not think they were going to go out and release both safeties. It's looking like they're going to go young, right? Mike McDonald wants to go with the youth movement at the safety position. And obviously, this team is really young at corner, so it should be a really interesting dynamic, with what's happening in the secondary for Seattle next season. But the Adams release, it is what it is. But Quandre Diggs, man, I mean, this is somebody who I really feel like he fits the bill of a safety in what Saleh and Ulbrich want to do defensively. This is somebody who has experience at strong safety and free safety. He is big. He is physical. He has range. He can make plays in the deep parts of the field. I mean, man, if you... So safety is my favorite position, right? If you are a fan of this position, go back and watch Quandre Diggs at Texas, right? Mac Brown, Manny Diaz was the defensive coordinator. How they used Diggs was awesome. Awesome, right? Since that last year of Texas, he's always kind of been one of my favorite players from afar. Obviously spent time with the Detroit Lions as well. But yeah, Quandre Diggs, man, if the Jets were to land him, I would be totally pumped up. Now, as far as asking price goes, that's going to be somewhat of a different story. Diggs has missed some time. He is considered a veteran at this point. And, clearly we have... the Jets consider themselves a win now football team, and we don't know who the left tackle, the right tackle, the backup QB is going to be. We have a lot of things that we have to figure out, obviously, but if Ashton Davis doesn't get brought back, if Jordan Whitehead doesn't get brought back, I would really like to see Quandre Diggs get brought into the green and white. Somebody who I feel like would be an upgrade over what we had last year, and a true veteran leader who fits the system, right? So let me know your thoughts down below in the comments section. Another little bit of news that came out. I really don't know how interested the New York Jets are going to be here, given how saturated the market is at this specific spot. But the Panthers did go out and release Hayden Hurst, a veteran tight end. If they want to go out and just get a safe option as that backup tight end, or even like tight end 3 to compete in camp with like Conklin or Ruckert, I think he could come in as a really, really cheap option, somebody who's flashed, but obviously I don't really believe he's like a long-term fit there. So anyway, let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, go Jets.